Alright, 당도 알겠으니 다 비행보시 나저 직 최시 중요한 말 아디린 양주 양치 토제 어다 양치 지에 그 고급라와디 내가 오시라 중소스 자산이야 자산 대호체 아게 토 좀 셰라와디 뜻이래요스.
Good evening. It's wonderful to see you all again tonight. It's been 3 months since we had the opportunity to be together for a weekend class. And it's really wonderful to see us all gathered together again tonight. And I'm hoping that everyone is not only happy, but in good health as well.
아니 자당은 저 로릭 세티 가서 로다리 파세데 로고 코스 아니 제디 그래서 맞아 디고서 살아봐 그래서네 당은 나바상기 비기 아주기 지당 아주 점리 날이야 지미 미차산 인디기 되바다 동아미 되바래 여러분 지사다 아주 지소라 아니 디기 주비에게 탑람들라 아주기 따직 레가다 되니게 토네 아니 아주기 지용은 직딩기 저다들 아주기 레가레제 강아지 아니 디기 주타지 강아세야다 디기 주타 탑람디 비즈치고로 나 디나네다 나바상기 비기 점는 디기 아주 동아세야다 디기 주비야 탑람디 지단 디zam기다 저기 튕긴 주바즈미 치 튕긴 주바즈미 디기다 주투야다 동아세 투야요 말에 대사다 아주 조 가르창고에서는 낭 삼로나래 로래야 장도를 제제 로 야가 초디에는 아주 고 냠nen제 로 누가 균이릭디 파 매바 수제 아주 로래야 장도를 제 안지 디기 주비야다 동아세야디 디탑람제 탑시제 오래세디 곰냠nen제 오래세 취제 오래세디 산지기 탑람디 아주 디기 주비야 탑람데 동아세야 탑람디 디순고로와.
We're going to continue with the topic that we started on last year, that of in Tibetan, Lorig. Can you hear me at the back? Is it a little bit soft at the back? It's okay? A little bit higher? A little bit higher? Okay, we'll try. Okay, so we'll continue with this topic, which in Tibetan is Lorig. And in English, this is translated Lo is awareness, and Rig is knowers. So the topic, awareness and knowers. This fits into the context of what all of us as sentient beings all have in common, which is we have an inner yearning to experience only happiness and to avoid all forms of suffering and frustration and misery. We all have this longing to experience lasting, stable happiness. And our society has developed through our civilization, through our development as people, has developed many techniques to try and achieve happiness and to overcome our problems and difficulties. And these tend to take up most of our time, most of our energy, and they are mostly focused on the external world, how to ensure that our external world has as small a harmful impact on us as possible and as beneficial impact on us as possible. The Buddha Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha, this have something in common with these worldly methods in that the Buddha taught how to achieve happiness as well as how to overcome problems. But the focus of the Buddha Dharma is not at all on the outer world, it is solely on the inner world. The Buddha Dharma presents, or the teachings of the Buddha present a wide variety of methods that are to be learnt, to be understood, and whilst coming to know them, to be internalized. So the Buddha Dharma is presented as a variety of meditation techniques that are cultivated by individual practitioners based on knowledge, meditation based on knowledge. And in this way, one transforms one's way of thinking, one transforms one's mind. And this is how one overcomes all problems and difficulties and achieves lasting, stable happiness. there are two sources for our problems and difficulties and frustrations. One is from the outer world or the material world, and the second is our inner world, our way of thinking. Of these two sources, the primary one is our inner world, our way of thinking, through faulty ways of thinking. This is the primary source of our problems and difficulties.
The rig mudawa karakara tu saidi, tama rig dine yore saidi, and my cabaret shadi, Lori, that Lodine in your deal mean dine like dine zero, dine sure, Sapa, Modre, Moyagi, and then Manzuki, Lodi Paja, Moshiagi, Suadi, she on that Lori Cosia, Dishiko, what.
The vast majority of our problems coming from our way of thinking, as well as sources of happiness coming from our way of thinking. This topic here, Lorig, is what is exactly about this topic. How to understand our way of thinking, how to understand our mind. So this is the topic of Buddhist psychology. So the word that we use for thinking, this is the same as the word in our title here, awareness, or another synonym will be consciousness or knowers. So here we're looking at Buddhist psychology, coming to understand our inner world, our mental world, so that we can transform this into a state of happiness. When we divide consciousness, there are many ways that one can divide, but the most well-known is the sevenfold division, referred to often as the sevenfold division of Lorig. These we've started to look at, many of them already. The first being direct perception, the second being inferential valid cognition, the third being correct assumption, the fourth being subsequent cognition, the fifth being non-ascertaining awarenesses, the sixth being doubt, and the seventh, wrong consciousnesses. But as it's been a while since you've possibly heard these terms, then I think there may be some benefit into having a brief review. Look around at the beginning of our text, we'll see where we have pages 1 and 2. Can divide existence into objects and objects possessors. So these are the headings we have on the first 2 pages. So an object is that which is known. And an object possessor, that which possesses that which is known, that object, is either a person or an awareness. And this we see here on our first page. Objects, that which is known. On the second page, what knows the object possessors, are either persons or awarenesses. We look at in the middle, page 2, awarenesses. So this is the vast majority of our text, is coming to understand awarenesses. And it's defined immediately as a knower. And that now will take us to the title of our text, Lorig, awareness, and knowers. So the essence or the entity perhaps, or the entity of awareness, this definition, is that it's a knower. It knows an object. And then if we divide, we see immediately below divisions of awarenesses into those which are valid and those which are non-valid. Then we started to look at these two divisions of awarenesses, and we've been looking at valid cognizers for some months. So we see the definition of a valid cognizer, and what this means is it's when an object is known by consciousness. We have here the definition there on the second page, a new incontrovertible knower. So it refers to the first moment being new, that an object is known. And that's the meaning of incontrovertible. The object is known. So when we think from the perspective of the various philosophical views or the philosophical tenets within Buddhism, this definition here is accepted by most of them. They say that only the very first instant, the very first moment when an object is known, that is a valid cognizer. Subsequent moments are no longer valid because they are not new. But the philosophical view of the Prasangika, the highest philosophical view, doesn't assert that a consciousness or a knower needs to be new in order for it to be a valid cognizer. The subsequent moments are also valid cognizers. So there is that difference in definition. The majority of Buddhist philosophical schools assert the definition that's presented here, but the Prasangika do not assert that it needs to be new, just incontrovertible and a knower. Sorry, your translator made a small error in what I said there. So the term new in the definition, this is not asserted by Prasangika, but it is asserted by the others. There is another difference in this definition. So this definition, as we see it here, isn't accepted by all the non-Prasangikas. But again, I didn't mention that. So anyway, that just to clear that up, the term new is what is asserted by the non-Prasangikas. All will assert that it needs to realize its object, it needs to be incontrovertible. But there's a difference between the Prasangika and the non-Prasangika with new. Anyway, if you read what's written here, then that will be a little clear. So now what Genla has just said, valid cognizers have two divisions that we see right at the bottom of the second page, into direct and inferential.
마트비 정모숨기 챙이다 예완이 그거 모숨세데 모숨이 챙이다 예완이 그거 지당 모숨이 챙이다 예완이 좀 지당 모숨 나야 돼 모숨 나야 돼 랑게 나요나 마트비 리바세야 돼 모숨이지 근데 대디네 예와 예용도 될래야 안 원병 모숨다 이용 모숨 안에 그자 라지 모숨 내중 모숨sen 예와들 시체용으로
We turn over the page onto page 3. We start now to look at value cognition in some detail. We start with direct perception. In direct perception, we see it defined here as a knower that is non-conceptual and unmistaken. And it has 4 divisions, those which are sense, mental, self-knowing, and yogic.
대장도 미기 셰바니 파 통위게 미기 셰바 나위 셰바 나위 미기 원병 나위 원병 니원병 지원 루이 원병 숨세네 되네게다 무슨 나래 나차용으로 원병 숨세데.
So looking at those 4 briefly then. The first, the sense direct perceivers. There are different ways to divide those. And we see a little further down on page 3, the 5-fold division of sense direct perceivers. Those that apprehend form, sound, odor, taste, and tangible objects. So those of the 5 senses.
지나다가 저기 김쟁아야 삼다모와지 미기 과다요 되는 힘으로 맞서 남상 통원에 미기 또비게 참아지길래야 네 원병원수미 미기 원병원수미 참아시기로와 어디서 배로시대 다전에 이용원수미 참아시되 당은 저기 안에 가서 그래 뭐시 주제 현심시비 뭐시디기 다 이용원수미 참아셔야다 얘네 라리원수미 참아 내용원수미 참아셔야지 어디 시디다 언저기 시시용로다 예와는 맞서 원수미 참아들 시시
We covered this in some detail last year, reviewed it this year, so we don't need to look at it much now. But the sense direct perceivers, this is what one directly perceives through one's senses without thinking about it. So there's not a conceptual element. And so, for example, if one just sees something, then that is the first division, the sense direct perceiver apprehending form. If one just sees an object before one, that mere seeing of it, that is the sense direct perceiver apprehending form. A mental direct perceiver, so that's an illustration of a mental direct perceiver, would be clairvoyance. The clairvoyance is an illustration of a mental direct perceiver on the top of page 4, and there are 2 other divisions, self-knowing and yogic.
그래서 난 알아서 길라 가려서는 원병원숨되게 알아서 길라 요래 안에 라리원숨 요래 다가를 요말 나중원숨 알아서 길라 요 말에 이기원숨 요래 알아서 길라 요래 안지송 알아서 길라 요래 버려.
So for ourselves, of these 4 divisions of direct perceivers, then 3 are found. Sense direct perceivers, mental direct perceivers, self-knowing direct perceivers. The 4th one, which is over the page on page 5, yogic direct perceivers, these aren't found amongst ordinary beings.
그래서 나는 줄이야 디기 여기 조로지 용사로 가와인 것은 망체데 미기 셰비게 미왕비 미기 셰비게 통치는 망보이 통 디제서 장비게다 지가 저를 가르쳐야 열었으네 나 태좀기래 록셰기래 아는 아주게 아니 이주기래 나라망아 바기래 안디 견진에 아주야 아니지 동아리아다 디기어다 강아몽벌이야디 되는지 용거와 단 나위 셰비게 나위 온보디게 자퇴비 셰바지게 나위 셰바 나위 온보지 원숨지 디 지수 장비야 똑바지 자마라 먹으시게 안디 토는 아주야 강아리아다 디 안디나신 디다 지 셰바다 디네 셰바다 루이 셰바 대속이 지수 장비게 당아서 갈리고 벌써네 이줄리그래 나라망발리그래 태숨리그래 록시리그래 제자다 태숨 나 록시디게래도 디견지는 안줄이야 동아몽벌이야다 되는 요아지 차사 당아주기 미기 셰베게 지수 장 유통 디 지수 장비 아주 디도 몽벌이야 나외 셰베게 유통 자퇴 디 지수 장비 아주 디도 몽벌이야 근데네 네 셰바 디티통 디 지수 장비게 당아주기 디루 몽벌이야 어두스네 다 데니기 셰바 디술레 때네 당아주기 디루 요하기 강아디 요하데 차상 셰바 디수기 지수 장 리고로 받아
for ourselves. It's through these five sense direct perceivers that we experience many problems. There's a stream of continuity. For example, if we see something, the mere seeing of it, that first instant, is a sense direct perceiver. So it's a knower that is non-conceptual and mistaken. Sorry, not the first instance, but the mere seeing of it is a knower that is non-conceptual and unmistaken. Then based on that, or rather not based on, following from that, so this is a non-conceptual consciousness, as we see in the definition of a direct perception. Based on what we have here seen, which is a non-conceptual consciousness, follows a variety of conceptual consciousnesses or thoughts. And these then can be thoughts such as we first heard about earlier. So these can be doubts, they can be wrong consciousnesses, non-ascertaining awarenesses. So in the division of Lorig into 7, many of these will follow from the initial sense direct perceiver. And this, of course, doesn't relate only to our visual sense direct perceivers apprehending form, but also our auditory sense direct perceivers hearing sound. We'll hear a sound, that will be a direct perception, and from that, or that induces a whole host of over-conceptualizations, problems and difficulties, doubts, wrong consciousnesses, all can follow through what we perceive through our 5 sense doors. Ini dedu kadang nang mana patang rapos.
Jadi ngosum la ngosum cema ini gua marwaji ngosum dela kariyasene topa dera sardu milu asema topa dera machuiri pare dela cema yore Geshe yore nala ngosum ga ngosik ngosum nalo lo sum ga ngosik. Dan ngosum cema la de yudo sarwaji dan Geshe da nala asa nala ma ba de ayo marwa.
As we see on 3rd and 4th page, sense direct perceivers, mental direct perceivers, and self-knowing direct perceivers have subdivisions. Sense direct perceivers, we saw, can be divided into 3, but all 3 of these, into 5, but all 3 of these direct perceivers, sense, mental, and self-knowing, are divided into 3. We see this as valid cognizers that are sense direct perceivers, subsequent cognizers that are sense direct perceivers, and non-ascertaining awarenesses that are sense direct perceivers. So this is that threefold division applies to sense direct perceivers, mental direct perceivers, and self-knowing direct perceivers. Now when we go back to the first page, so those of you who've heard these teachings before, hopefully this is ringing some bells. When you go back to our very first page, or the second page, the preceding page, we saw valid cognizers are divided into 2. Direct valid cognizers and inferential. Now we turn over and we go to something that's neither of those, is direct perception. But within direct perception, the first division of all 4 is valid cognizers. So here we have valid cognizers. So when awareness is divided into 2, we have direct valid cognizers and we have inferential valid cognizers. That first division is found over the page under direct perception, the first one, valid cognizers that are sense direct perceivers. And then on the 4th page, valid cognizers that are mental direct perceivers. And below that, valid cognizers that are self-knowing direct perceivers, and so forth. And then that we came to look at later on the 6th page. So again, those of you who have been here before, this will have some connection. But there are other divisions that we see on the 3rd and 4th page, subsequent cognizers, non-ascertaining cognizers. These are not included under direct valid cognition.
나디네 제수법의 체마세. 다 제수법의 체마. 제수법의 체마라데 먼저 김제 삼다제 김제 야다바 삼다데. 되니 여바 또비 체마들라 제수법의 체마시고 와지다 제수법의 체미 친일라셔도 된 랑기 된도 규베 다야다 나게네 ane 또비 서드밀루비 신직셰바스 자디 제수법의 체마라고 단다라 유디나 마인스 제바지 김천 삼다다는 김천 디디 간점질라 유디 김천 디 또비 어디디 이러샤스는 다 주비게 또비 참마들라 안 제수법에 참마시거든요.
So briefly, then at the bottom of the second page, we see valid cognizers are divided into direct valid cognizers and inferential valid cognizers. We then turned over the page to direct perception, and we saw there were 4, each with their own subdivisions. Within those subdivisions, the very first one was valid cognizers, which are sense direct perceivers, or valid cognizers are mental direct perceivers, etc., for self-knowing and yogic as well. Those were then looked at in some detail on page 6 under direct valid cognizers. What we haven't yet looked at in detail, we just looked at a bit here on page 3, 4, and 5, with subsequent cognizers and non-ascertaining awarenesses. Those we have yet to come to in their own specific outlines later in the text, because they are not valid cognizers. So we'll come to them later. But what we did look at then is, having looked at direct valid cognizers, we followed that up with, on page 8, with inferential valid cognizers, the second type of valid cognizer. So the main point with an inferential valid cognizer, and you can see it in the definition, a new incontrovertible determinative knower that is directly produced in dependence on a correct reason that is its basis. The main point with the inferential valid cognizer is the object is realized, it's incontrovertible, but independent on correct reasoning. So here we're using analysis based on reasoning to realize an object. That is the key feature within inferential valid cognition.
이제 봐세 뒤로와 그래서 김제 양다바 삼다제 나 저기 변에 달 놈이 빼셔야 될이야 당부 진바 직다지 아니 신가기지나 강바시나 매주에나면나 삼장은 똑같은 거 매연의 매주 국어를 와서 매주고대다 매주 가와는 라기나 삼파티도 아니 편이야 누워지 둥거르지 둥거 근데 매디 둥거 말와 진짜 누워도 둥거와 저도 편이 다 통역도 가서 왔습니다. 편이 누워 둥도 세상 파시 매위그래서 배 도과사고 와다 도과실이 그래. 다디네 지 도과지 담보 다 매편이 여사래서 배 도과지 영으로 봐. 진짜 양은 심주 지거로 누워디 초현다 진의 수리기도 디오가 원리기도 누워디 가능도 집에 초 누워디 초현다 진의 리기는 대 누워이나 매여서 말어 어디 누워디 대여서 말 누워디 페니슬레 샤스는 거 봐. 진짜 다 제일이야 매여 누워디 다 누워디냐 된지 하슈 야 등기도 다 갑을이야 갑을 슉셔도 되니기 누워디 등기 여봐다 되니기 하고야도 어다바니 매도 세야디 누워디 페니야 누워지 균마시도 되제 갑을이야 누워 슉쳐다 갑을 충자 되니 누워디 갑을이야 교대 갑대 거도 용한 되니 용구로 와도 진짜 되니 어다바니야 도 스타디 어다 두어슈 되제 안 갑을 슉쳐 갑을 충한 두스리디 안다 다베니 땡땡 두어도 디자 땡땡 메요레 선비게다 메요레 선비 타지비 두어디 김진데 지네 메요레 선비 타지비로 지어로와 니 제바 참아시고 거기 타 제바 나신 편이 메디 따바 레레 예레로와 진짜 되니기 메요바 두어 김진데 지네 메디 미유 통매나야 타롱분에 편이 메요레 선나 하고 걸로디 니 제바 참아서 배로 진데 시그로와 천지로 좀 와서는
The illustration that is often given to show what an inferential valid cognizer is if, let's say, someone's walking in a forest, one sees a bit of haze in the distance and thinks to oneself, I wonder what that is. Perhaps it's smoke, perhaps it's mist, I'm not sure, I'm at a bit of a distance. So here one has some doubt. One doesn't really know what's going on. But one walks towards this haze in the distance, and as one gets closer, one sees that, oh, this really looks like it is smoke. I wonder where it's coming from. And then, of course, right now one's still at a distance, and one's not too clear where it's coming from. But as one gets closer, one sees, oh, it's not being blown in from a distance, but it seems to be rising in a direct plume from just before me. Then one walks a bit further, sees a cottage in the forest from which smoke is coming from the chimney. Here, now one has no doubt that this is smoke. One also has no doubt where the smoke is coming from. So these are one clearly has a direct perception of smoke. One also now has a direct perception of the smoke coming from a particular source. So these are direct perceivers, but based on the reason that I'm seeing smoke rising from a chimney from this house, I know there is fire in this house. There's fire in the fireplace in this house. So this person has not seen any fire, but has come to realize independence not just on any reason, but a correct reason, which is independence on there being smoke, there will be fire. They have realized that there is fire in the fireplace in that home. And that realization, based on a correct reason, is an inferential valid cognizer.
기위신 제조 공부하셔야 아니 나 주게 내 지게 미다고 공부하셔야 되니까 공 접사직 먹고 실리기로 와 뒤쳐서 당은 당보 하고 말 당보 제바치고 와 근데 동아이지 동아 보면 동아 삼다 동아 임비 임세 가래 동아 가는 슬리기도 가르치는 용도 제바치 가슴질에 제바치 타말라 뭐 땡땡 디디도 선배 하고 그 채마디 김제 삼 야네 야도 김제 삼 다지 제바치네 어다디 동아 레샤 디진 동아 용도서 다 주베 채마디 근데 제바치 마차로 그래 나중에 매니 때데 람림 냠는 지디급을 동아 공고리 나도 동아 삼고리 세시도 제바선 기시고 말데 이나 된다라 제바디 시고르다 내가도 동아 삼고리도 간데 삼고리 나도 동아 간스 용구도 가르치는 용구도 파 제바지고 그래서 제바치는 아니 간삼질래 디 동아 레샤 디 용구도 선배 하고요도 디는 세고 하고요나 아 저기 체맥이 딩문에 교인 바식시고 하고나 다 교인들 타야게 덥시단 거로 와 교인들 하 먹거나 아니 저기 교인들 타야게 덥시단 거 말아
근데 이 담아 교인 거통서 교인 암초 고마서
교인서 가지고 교인서 가서 동아이 봐 하고나 아니 이 같은 때 동아들 타야게 덥시지 그로 와 동아이 바다 하 먹거나 저 빼는 디응으로 빼는 아주 창동지 빼강아지 디기 강아시고 튀겨봐도 세부시고 하고나 아주 빼 디규엔 레샤 선배 세부 하고서나 너주 임바 세부 하고나 너주 딜레 마야게 제마 마야 투시그로 봐 진짜 하 먹거나 저기 규엔 임바 하 먹거나 안 델이야 타야게 톱시리고 말 진짜 하고다 먹었어야지 규엔 임바 체매 또 그래 체매 또나 규엔 임바 하고 그래 규엔 임바 체매 마도나 규엔 임바 하고 마도 그래 봐 지산 체면 또야기다 아주 김제 삼다 야네 야도 삼다네 최바제 야네 야도 삼다에도 김제 삼다 또여도 하고 체마디다 하고에도 교인바 하고에도 당보 하고 근데 체마디 제바 체마디 자고 그래.
If we think of the classes of Lamrim or the graduated stages to enlightenment that you're receiving, and the meditations that you engage in on those topics, here primarily, one is striving to develop inferential valid cognition, inferential valid cognizers. In the Lamrim, generally, this term, inferential valid cognizers, one won't find it very often, if at all. But this is what one is doing. For example, in one of the early topics, that of relying on a spiritual teacher, the qualities of a spiritual teacher are not immediately directly perceivable to us, certainly not in a way that can have a profound impact on us. These need to be reflected on. They need to be investigated on based on reasoning. So this is analytical meditation which will lead to a realization. And that realization will be initially an inferential valid cognizer. Similarly, with the sufferings in the lower realms or on impermanence, those are to be realized. In order to realize them, one requires knowledge, because it's based on knowledge, knowledge being our reasoning, that we can meditate on the topics, such as the sufferings in the lower realms, qualities of a spiritual teacher, and impermanence, and come to a realization based on those correct reasons. So this is something we do in our Lamrim meditations. But again, this term, inferential valid cognition, is unlikely to be found at all in a Lamrim text. But this is what we're striving to develop. And it's something we actually utilize in our daily life continuously. We think about when we experience a problem, we think about the causes that problem could have come from. And we then investigate to try and find the cause so that we don't repeat that same mistake. So, for example, if one overdrinks and gets a bit drunk and that creates some problems in one's life, one will think, oh, why is my head so sore? Why did I do all these things? The reason will be quite clear. And then based on that knowledge and one's reflection on it, one's behavior may change. So we utilize this way of thinking not only in our religious context, our Buddhist context, but in our daily life as well. Investigation, analysis, thought based on correct reasons.
Ngabani bilo tileng chamache tang mosumi chamalab de nganzo mi thon pe sewo shu gangi ya dib me ba che sewo shu thon ha go de la mosumi chime do ba si ro da jeba chame de do se de le de si kap di khen kar na di denji che nang go za de le de kap di be na kyun de yue di be che sewo rang me ba che mosumi do ba na sewo thong go ma le just de la do ba de jeba ge do ba si ro 내가 저기 잘라로 쏘면 아주 거유의 치료 뛰어셔가 미리 통화도 세고 쉬고 통고로 봐. 딩원스미 통고로 봐. 다 내내게 거유의 봐. 지 레지 지제 된데 샤바나 될 레지 지 거유 세부 통고만 이나 거유 딴딴데 요래스면 다 주베 세마죠로 봐. 언디나지 지 제바 참아서 제로 봐. 거유 지요로 봐. 거유의 뛰어셔바는 아주 미리 세고 쉬고 통고로 봐. 지산 니 통보데 모습이 치면 도서 체로 봐. 다 거유의 봐. 레지 지제 샤샤바는 그렇게 요래서면 다 주불로 요래 이내야这个 미기 통화나시 대지 통화나시 레기 그 이후로 세부 사자 능고 말아 가서 레디 값되어 봐. 언제 제박에 또야 돼 유도야 돼. 가서 디나 레기 값하나시 된지지단 제체 원수미 통화나시 많이 봐. 세부 세자 많이 된지단 제체는 나도 그러 봐. 나도 그러 봐. 니디 또스 또아니래라. 제상 원수미 또야 되다. 디니 된지기 또아니디 그 유디래 세부 통화다. 지기 값되어 통화니를 또스 잡아야 돼. 제거래. 니가 유도 봐 임바 지발해.
These were then the two major parts of the text that we have covered thus far, that of direct perception and inferential valid cognition. So these two divisions that fall under awarenesses or valid cognizers. When valid cognizers are divided, direct valid cognizers, which we looked at as a section on its own and also within direct perception, and inferential valid cognition. In brief, the difference between a direct valid cognizer and an inferential valid, a direct perceiver and an inferential valid cognizer is a direct perceiver is where the object is directly perceived and realized. There's no filter between the perceiving awareness and there's no filter. There's nothing between the perception and the objects. Hence, direct perception. And the object is realized. An inferential valid cognizer also realizes its object, but not directly. Why not directly? Because there's a meaning generality in between. So if we think of the fire wasn't directly perceived, but it was nevertheless realized in dependence on the correct reason. But there was also a meaning generality of that fire, and that is what was realized. Similarly, if there's a cup and one directly sees the cup, one realizes with a direct perceiver this cup. But if the cup is covered in a cloth, but one knows that this is a cover that usually is placed around a cup, then one can, based on that reason, realize that there is a cup within that cover without actually seeing the cup. So this is a realization based on a correct reason, and therefore is an inferential valid cognizer rather than a direct perception. So that's the difference between the two. The one, the object is directly perceived and realized. The other, inferential, the object is not directly realized, but it is realized based on a correct reason. So that's the difference. What they have in common, both realize the object. And last time we also started but didn't finish looking at the outline on the 9th page, terminological divisions of valid cognizers. And we looked at the first page, and we're going to now start on page 10, valid cognizers that are person, speech, and consciousnesses. So terminological divisions of valid cognizers mean that they are not really valid cognizers, but that they are called valid cognizers. Valid cognizers that are person, speech, and consciousnesses. So here we see at the top of page 10 the divisions of the terminological division of valid cognizers, that into valid cognizers that are persons, valid cognizers that are speech, and valid cognizers that are consciousnesses. Valid cognizers that are persons and are speech. These two are not really valid cognizers. They are called valid cognizers, therefore they are terminological divisions of valid cognizers, but they are not actual valid cognizers. What is a valid cognizer is the third one, valid cognizers that are consciousnesses.
디니게 체메 마도바제 안 도바사 안에 지게 태좀 터네 조샤바이나 직신 투레 직신 투 말은 게 된다 주비 게봐요 말. 세상 체마서야 돼 가서 체마디게 유디 와서 유디 또바 인자 아주 괴린디 딱딱 주투고래 된다 괴린 주투고래. 세상 체미게 된다 디로 김제로지.
Die Göttin, der Yankyasan.
아주 고액이 된다도 주투고래. 이 빌샤서 미투가 로고요나 체면 예반이 미도 예바 하고 하지 체면 또지 아주 미도 투어주나 아주 된다가 미투고요 봐. 지금 저반에 미도 투 그래야지. 체면 마도지 미도 예나면나 코투가 로고스 저반에 근데 갑자기 투 그래지 갑자기 투 말은 예바요 말로. 된다 주투비 예바요 말로. 지금 미도 예바 하고 하지 체면 예반 예지는 어판이 여러서 체면 또 살아있나 아주 오고 투가 로고나 아주 된다디 가르스네 체마 미투 투고 된다 주투 그래지 봐. 체맥이 다 강제래 유도 또베 또도 내가 때네 나도 고액이 고된디 주투고 해서 체맥 마도가 있나 이 내가 때네 마도가 로실래 때네 나도 고된 주투고 해서는 두병 해 봐요 말이지.
Döntun säkert det Göttin.
고된 고액이 된다디.
Alle.
고된 식으로.
Vad är som döntun?
고액이 된다.
Den är inte sapukasa. Now, review tonight. We started out by, we mentioned quite early on, what the two divisions of valid cognizers, at the bottom of page 2, that into direct and that into inferential. What we saw, though, with valid cognizers is of these two types, they both realize their object, and they're unmistaken. They realize their object. One does so directly, the other in dependence on correct reasons. And the illustration was either fire is directly seen, or through the correct reason of seeing smoke, one knows that there is fire. And valid cognizers are of great importance because if there's something that one wants to achieve, one requires a valid cognizer. One needs to realize an object in order to be effective in achieving it. For example, again, we stay with illustrations that are easy to understand because then you can apply it to things of more importance. Let's say one wants fire. If you see fire over there and you need fire, you'll definitely get it. You know it's over there. Or if you're needing fire, you can see the smoke, say that's the place to go to collect some fire. So that's an inferential realization, inferential valid cognition, and you'll go and get fire. But if one doesn't have a realization that there is fire over there, one will have doubt, one will have some confusion thinking, I wonder where I can get fire. Perhaps there, I'm not sure, maybe nowhere. And then one may well miss the opportunity to get fire. Similarly, if you want to meet someone, if you've just spoken to them and you know that they are home, you have a direct perception from their conversation, you know they're home, or maybe you see them across the street, you can go and meet them. Or if based on reasoning, you know they will be home, you go there and you'll meet them. Otherwise, if one hasn't either generated a direct perception or an inferential cognition, then one will have doubt, one will have confusion, a lack of certainty, and one is not so likely to achieve what one hopes for. So therefore, valid cognition is of great importance.
상유 점는들 기부 참아서라고 가려라나 상유 점는 되기 안에 상유 점는 되게 최탐 제 간신나 호롱 게 마도 받아 마힌 봐요 마 세상 긴거래 지상 상유 점는 되 캔바 인장 상유 점는 되게 롭딘 제베 되게 제수 자장 아주 딜롭딘 제베 있는 될 양아주 고된 주투고래 고된 주투고 고된 주마투가 기는 용거 고된 주투고래 와 지상 되네 자 상유 점는 되래 기부 참아서 상유 점는 되 기부 참아서 하고래 김제디로와.
And we see here on page 10 illustrations of these of each division. So the illustration of a valid cognizer, that is a person, is the teacher Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha. The reason that a Buddha, or in this case Shakyamuni Buddha, is presented as a valid person, is because Buddhas and Buddhas alone know all phenomena. Every existence is known by a Buddha. So therefore, they are able to guide us, to lead us along the correct and unmistaken path to the achievement of the perfected state of Buddhahood. It's only a Buddha that can guide us correctly and to develop the unmistaken path, because a Buddha knows all phenomena. And therefore, a Buddha is a valid cognizer, that is a person.
Sangye Mayamba, Simje Ruchina, Korongi, Twimba, Lamden, Jesse Tamje, Dunda Dutugusen, how couple workers, and Korongi, Lamden, Chasa, Higo, Mashiba, Mambuyorova. Chasa, Dini, Chamachago. Sanye Jemden, dear said, Lamden Jeva Chasa, no 2 euros, no 2 guinea, Manzu Miu, Manzu Dunda Duedi, Di Chedo Sanji, Lamden Jesha Batella, Manzu Jesu Jamba, Di Miu Dunda, the Tugu, Chesa Dinesa, Karasene, Sanye Korongi, Manova, Dumba, Manova Tata is Dungo, Regide. She's a Manova Tata Dungo, she's a Manova Tata Dumba, Delia Manzuki Justuna, Manzuki Dunda the Tugu, she's a Chema, Dumba Chema. Manora Tata Dungores, she's not done by the Korongi, Manoa Tata Kingore. She's a Manoa Tata Kemba, she had done by the Manoa Tata Dintore, the Lamden Jedi, Ma Lamden Jedi. She's a dinner in that San Yumedi, Dumba Tama said Shawa, Kim Tisha.
An ordinary person, an ordinary person is not suited to be an illustration of a valid cognizer that is a person. And this is because, unlike a Buddha, an ordinary person doesn't know all phenomena. Where that is of particular importance is that an ordinary person, maybe good, well-intentioned, can give one some guidance, maybe even teach something. But there will be mistakes in what they have to say. There will be mistakes in the guidance that they give, the advice that they give. And that is because they do not yet know all phenomena. They have not arisen as a perfected being. Buddha, on the other hand, knows all phenomena in an unmistaken way. And this enables a Buddha to guide beings perfectly in accordance with their own complexities of their individual karmic backgrounds and their own individual spiritual dispositions. So for this reason, a Buddha is the perfect guide, because a Buddha is able to guide one in an unmistaken manner.
지상 상계 쯤된 얘기 얘는 캠바 나시 상계 쯤된 얘기 시바디 차상 코로 시바 나시 유디게 요데 바래지 얘는 노와다 투와 노와이 메가데 배wanza 기부 참아사시.
So in the same way that the two types of valid cognizers realize an object in an unmistaken manner, hence realize the object unmistakenly, so too does the Buddha. And the Buddha realizes all objects in an unmistaken manner.
dine zada temba sanje jumde kibu chema dine chema chae dia dangbo na chema mare yesi dangbo na nga zo na shire ma shin ba dang lo do da tie zum da dine mangbo yo re che nyu mangbo ri mangbo yo di ba chire 지상 dine za da 간에 간에 cha ba re la dangbo khona chema mare dine chema yu so wa res 가르 제로 유 어레스는 냠는 제제 곰 냠는 진내는 기고 chema cha ba re si ko ba.
The historical Buddha, who is an illustration of a valid cognizer that is a person, was not always thus. The Buddha was an ordinary being just like ourselves, an ordinary being full of uncertainty and things that are unknown, strong afflictions such as anger and ignorance and desire. So an ordinary person just like us. But the being that eventually became the Buddha, through meditating based on knowledge, in other words, through training their mind, eventually developed all the qualities of a Buddha and arose as a Buddha, and then became a valid cognizer that is a person. Dampo, Jepa Kitsema, then he Chucheruto, and he Yana Comiodia, Namki Kursi, this is true. So from our spiritual perspective, the objects that are of great importance are many, such as the mind of bodhicitta, the mind of compassion, the wisdom that realizes the selflessness of persons, the mind of single-pointed concentration. These are all objects. So these are objects that we look to realize in a way that is unmistaken. So to take one as an illustration, that of calm abiding or single-pointed concentration. In order to develop calm abiding, one first needs an object on which to develop calm abiding. And so here, one will first need to develop a great familiarity with that object in order to be able to develop calm abiding with regard to that object, or single-pointed concentration with regard to that object. So we have here an object and an object possessor, which is the consciousness trying to develop undistracted concentration on this object. First, though, great familiarity is required. Then, when the object is realized, it will first be realized with an inferential valid cognizer. That then is a realization of this object, whatever it may be. And as one develops one's realizing consciousness ever further, it will progress from being an inferential valid cognizer that's been developed in dependence on correct reasons to becoming a direct perception. Depending on what that object is, it could be a yogic direct perception. So the fourth of those of the four divisions. And when that yogic direct perception is further developed, going from this continuity of being an ordinary perception or ordinary conception, developed into an inferential valid cognizer, a yogic direct cognizer, then eventually into the omniscient consciousness. So this is the continuity that as spiritual practitioners we aim to achieve. And the second of these terminological divisions of valid cognizers, that of speech. So the illustration we have here is the wheel of doctrine of the Four Noble Truths. So this is the first teaching that the Buddha gave, the teaching of the Four Noble Truths. But this is just an illustration. All the teachings of the Buddha are illustrations of valid cognizers that are speech.
That is on Denshi, Shongordi, Nga Semari, City, Karri, Lamne, Semang only the Marwada, Jina, Nga, Denshi Chugordi, Nga, Semari, like the Carson. Now to look where they carried school, Dunga, the Dunga in Bahako, not Dunga in Bahako. And Dunga, duty, Ganichili give you, but it is a Hako, Hako, heading on the Hako, where the kitchen. Dunga in Bahamona, Manzuki. 타야게 탑시 뒤도 말해. 다야 동아디 유가 늦질에 기기여 봐도 세부 하모거나 야 동아디래 타야게 탑도 다다 차도 말해. 지상 동아디 하고야다. 동아의 유가 늦질에 기기여 하고야 돼. 디 상예 점내디게 숨고로 봐. 지상 상예 점내디가 동아세 딘딘딘딘 레다 세디 마송 동아제 유딘딘 리고레 세 딘숨 지상 딘이게 상예 점내디 숨바나 신쟁하나 주기 될야 양내야도 삼다 제바제나 근데 가슴 찔려 어디 오늘 동아 디레샤스에 하고 투야지다 안 동아디 규되는 질다가라 상유 숨바는 규되는 질 끼기도 선배 하고 투야지 세부 하고 투고래 지난 될래 때네 하고 투가 가지고라 참마 만호와 디기 상예기 동아 템바 소야다 동아 군주 템바 소야기 세송 될래 때네 만호와 맞춰 송와서 될래 때네 가지고 된다디 죽투고면서 나서 말해서 Zada lamdi siri kokden siri soyadim. Jisa lamdi nyamsu lemba deni nyamsu lemba ina dunga de pangpi pangpa kokden tuptuguri esaja soyadu. Jisa di songba takarang ngazu nyamnen cheba ina daga donda tugo. Jisa deni esa sanyi yu songi deshi chugo dige nga chemari esayadi. Kasan chemegi yu toba ina ngazu di jesu joba ina donda di ngazu takta ratugo. donda chutugo di nashi sangi dishi subi chuor ti sumba nashi nga zuge nyamnen jeba ina nga zuge donda digi chubya da dunga segi donda da da chutugo le de tubanza nga chamare se de imzen disiguro da
deni de gyusin de tamayang kyasana
donda da chutugo enza nga chamasmi da barwa chama maina chamasmi da barwa chama nashi ji chime dosona yudi donda chutugo di nashi 디 제소 장지 롭된 나와 나신 증아주 님네 제바에나 아주 돈다 가르주 그래서 동아 세투그레 디기 투투그레 제
You remember that these first two divisions here are only terminological. So they're not actual valid cognizers. That is the third one. But a valid cognizer really is consciousness. But nevertheless, the teachings of the Buddha are suitable to be called valid cognizers because it's independent on the teachings of the Buddha that one can correctly come to realize the meaning of his teachings. So here we have the illustration as of a valid cognizer that is speech, being the wheel of doctrine of the Four Noble Truths. So the Four Noble Truths has as its first the truth of suffering, and then the truth of origin, and the truth of cessation, and the truth of path. So here the Buddha first taught true sufferings, teaching that suffering needs to be known. So the Buddha explained what is meant by suffering, by pain, by misery. And he presented this in many ways. The best known is the threefold division of the suffering of physical and mental pain, the suffering of transient pleasure, and all-pervasive suffering. And this was taught so that his students could come to understand what is meant by suffering and see how suffering pervades their experiences. And come to understand it first on a coarser level, and then subtler and subtler and subtler levels. So the Buddha taught this, and independent on these teachings being heard, with this knowledge as a basis, the student then can reflect repeatedly over a sustained period and come to realize the meaning of what was taught here, realize the truth of suffering. And in conjunction with this, that student will also receive teachings and be reflecting on the cause of suffering, true origins. And in this way come to realize the causes that lead to suffering. And in this way have the knowledge, and through their meditation and their realization, the conviction That is, those causes that need to be abandoned. And through further the teachings in the Four Noble Truths, the students will have come to understand the presentation on true paths, so the minds that are to be cultivated in order to attain true cessation of suffering, freedom of suffering. So all of these can be realized independent on the teachings of the Buddha, which are valid cognizers that are speech, because they enable, through repeated training, one to give rise to the unmistaken meaning of the teachings. As we see at the illustration of valid cognizers that are consciousness, we have the two that we already looked at, direct perceivers and inferential valid cognizers.
Tsema mayin pa lo she da nang la mang ya ba da tie zum yo na di an di ge ne de da tu tu go ma da nga zu ge lo tsema chi tu go ra ji san da nga zu mi da wa se ha da ko yin de dong yin se de dan yi dong yin se de jie ba ji en do bei tsema chi ge go re di gom ne ya ji gom jen ji lam nyam ne ji ya de di go ra ji san tsema ma ge ba do tu go ma ra ji san di ni ge tsema ji ya le ya ne ya do kim se sam ta de yum se sam ta da bo je ba tsema se ge go ra.
Right at the beginning, we looked at how awareness is divided into two, valid cognizers and non-valid cognizers. So over these last many months, we've been looking at valid cognizers, and it's these that we strive to cultivate within ourselves, because these are unmistaken. Non-valid cognizers, these have error in them, error to varying degrees. Especially, so this is true both in our everyday life as well as in our spiritual development. It's valid cognizers that we are striving to develop within ourselves, because we want our realizations to be unmistaken. What we know, we want to know unmistakenly, without any error. So if we take the realization of that is the wisdom that realizes emptiness, that realizes the nature of reality. This is ideally what this realization we need to have in a way that is unmistaken, a valid cognition of the nature of reality. A realization that's free of mistake, of error, of doubt. So these valid cognizers that we've been looking at, this is what we strive to develop within ourselves.
Da dong du ngosum gi da ngosum mi doye de nga zu gi ngosum doye de mang chi su dan zha dan ji dan su jing yi che de ge su jing yi che ra ba de ge nga su ngosum do do ba su jian dan su jian che cham mo yin de yang ngosum doye do ma de lia kim zhen sam da jia ba che je ane du sto ho cha ge wa bene da nga du shi ne su de le su ra ba du shi na ane ngosum yi do to che su chamoro china ya ngosu to ma dele jeba chine ya jeba chine to wa cha gore su rawa ro chine kabre le yang ju gi ngosu mi to ma to ba ya ji gi kimchen sam da to wa cha de ji na xin me se di one rawa ro wa ma je ge tong tu ye rawa le ine da kabre le yang ju ngosu mi to ma to wa chi pa kimchen sam da de to go ya cha gore wa bene cha ba ja de cha ba ja de ngosu ngosu to tu go cha ba to tu go wa ine kabre le ya cha ba ja gi ye na me na sin de kimchen sam da ya nam la jin ba ko ga sam da dini chokhane samda de dini gimse samda oda ta chaba gyapsa de sia da dini gimse o chaba ba sa mare sa ho ya I chago jisu jeba sama chago.
So for ourselves, most of our direct perceptions are sense direct perceptions. How we come to know physical phenomena is largely through direct perception, things that we see, we hear, taste, touch, and so forth. Of course, we also know physical phenomena through inferential valid cognition, such as the illustration of knowing that there's fire and dependence on the correct reason of seeing smoke. And there are many other illustrations. So, for example, if we leave here tonight and we feel water falling on our skin, we'll know it's raining. But sometimes we also know that it's going to rain in dependence on correct reasons, or we know it is raining in dependence on reasoning. So we also know physical phenomena, or we realize physical phenomena in dependence on reasoning, and that would be an illustration of inferential valid cognizers.
미디 안에 고우중샤 세팅아 저기 도와줘라 다 세명 내가 하고 해줘라 근데 미 고우중야다 안에 마기고 두셔야 돼 미기 통해서 말와 암조 다다 미기 통화식이 또도 말와 그래서 이기 시비 또 그래 또 하나 더 비 참아디 제바 참아자로 다 제바 참아서 가지고 김천 가서 삼당 와서 미디 고우슈 중샤라데 미디 넘겨 야보지다 예마셔다 되니 쉬어ben 디기 김천될 넘주기 야보때랑 예마셔 넘겨 될 때네 거 기부 영사에 거 거부 예설에 새벽에 아주 될 김천 될 때네 보고 봐 세상 거 기부 영사 기부 도샤다 야데 미디 기부 민도 세 미디 안에 가서 코로나 하샤라도 코로나세 셰바 재미기 통하여 뭐 암초 거야 말이네 코로나 라샤스 하고도 그 넘규다 아니 융하게 넘규 될 삼다장 디 아니 지게 디 김천전에 뽑고 어다고 코로나샤스 가지고 김천 류기 넘규를 융하게 넘규를 때네 그 코로나 바데 레라샤스는 가지고 하고야 예수 되는 직차가 봐 세상 안주기다 또 지금 릭망부 잘라리기나다 다지치카리나 디니 김천 삼다지 디레샤 선비게 하고야 보용도 당은 저기 제바 참아서 차고를 찾아
Whilst we use direct perception a lot to know material phenomena, and as well as inferential cognition, we do rely on inferential valid cognizers in other situations frequently, very frequently. For example, we do not have direct perception of someone else's consciousness or someone else's mind. But in dependence on valid reasons, or correct reasons rather, in dependence on correct reasons, we can realize what afflicted minds or what emotions are dominating them at a particular time. For example, if we see two people and the way that they are behaving towards each other and their facial expressions, and either the words they are using, or if we don't understand the words, their tone of voice, we can tell whether that they are in love or they are angry with each other. So we cannot see what afflictions are dominant in their continuum at that time. But in dependence on a variety of reasons, we can realize that those two people right now are in love, or those two people right now are arguing, they are angry with each other.
미 무비 공무도 미시되 무도스 제가 대 무비 김전전에 미디 기우메바디 보토그르베스네 데칼에 하고 차고라 가서는 인지미지 무나 미디 기우메베 내봐요 말와 가서는 어디 미디 기우면도다 가서는 공무도 라야 지루와 무비 김전에 전에 미디 기우메바 하고 토그르베스네 디 김전데 무어디 미 기우메베 김전 야다가 차고 말해 그래서 가시에 가는 거야 여러 벤베짜 예 소소라라기 지금 제모 제대로 제야다 안 죽죽래 빼직 소소 좀제 하고 터도 빼 가라신 빼 무야라 디용으로와 니 무고 할 때나 무이 김도 거 기부 매바지 무고를 해서 말하고 기부 하는 기부지 그 가네 무고를 막하는 기부 매바지는 무고 말아 그래서 무이 김도 거 기부 민도 그래서 그 무고도 와서나는 김센 디지는 무이 김센도 거 기부 매바 두고 말해
Here, though, it's always important to remember that a realization is unmistaken. So when this but what we may believe to be a realization may well not be so, because our reasons may be faulty, and that could be unknown to us. And if we think of when we've seen someone, perhaps someone we don't know that well, and we think, I'm not too sure. Are they really happy now? Or are they crying tears of joy or tears of anguish? Because we're not too sure from the sound they're making or the reasons for the tears running and their facial expression. it's not abundantly apparent which of those two very different emotions is dominant within them. So here, if we are correct, it will be an inferential valid cognition. If not, we will not have realized what emotion they are experiencing. We will be wrong.
제가 디치부기 툭툭고 다 되네기 김체 샹다 즉 김체 양 지금 무비 김체 무비 김체로 두 진의 심주를 제도야 김체 야다 바로 되네기 무비 김체 될라 되네 꼭 코로 비네 마기고 이거 포투에기 딱 무와디 이코 용고래 되네기 김체인데 되네 아니고 무 마기고 매바디 포투야지 용고래 그래서 윤닝워드 그 막모를 지지야다 되네기 김체 샹다 시행이 무와다 되네 김체 샹다 차산제 삼다 김체 마보이 삼다 오다 거기 운민도 선비게 다 무도 하고 되네지는 무와래 되네자 거기 운민도 사대 맞아 포투야지 용고로와.
To increase the accuracy of our investigation, it's important, therefore, to utilize a variety of reasons. So if we see someone who we're really not sure if they are particularly happy or unhappy at that time, then one can investigate. If through talking to them, you find out what's going on in their lives, it'll be abundantly clear. Or certainly, probably from their tone of voice, that may be an additional reason. And we can tell whether they are in great pain or in great joy at that time. So therefore, it's of importance to utilize a variety of reasons to ensure that our realization is unmistaken.
Ngui nisu de ha mo go thone ngui nisu de ha mo go kin jin ne di thone nga zo kanga mang bo che de di li go ba ji san chama se de ngui nisu mo ne ha go han de lo de la chama la go ba da ngui nisu ha go han de la ngui ne ko su ne de na ji me ji xin ha go han de lo de la chama so go ji san chama se de di che su cha ba na nga ju ge kanga di yong go ma la ji san chama se de ngui nisu ha go lo de le ji san da nga ju ge 다 수라 소바다 있는 아주 모습이 미기 셰바 나이저 코도 세부 통토에다가 뭐 모습이 침배해야지. 내내게 한 먹어지 김제 양다 벌sam다 두 제바체 어디 레샤선 세부 하고 되게 참아들 로들 양데 지수밥에 참아야지 가지고 내내게 셔야지다. 지상상의 땜바상의 좀된들이 기부 참아래 해야지. 그래서 그런 게 균 탐지 빵지 연다 탐지 코도 콩도 주바래. 지상 그런 거 차상 두고 그래. 지상 말 땡이기 셴이야 아니 람된 지혜들이야 만노와당 추와스 비네 매와자 좀된 디게 소야게 람된 제바들랑 아주 지수 주바이나 아주 된다 동아세 디기 죽투고요 가자 된바상 예점된 된바 참말이 세다 아니 총거에 디지 세바나지 총거에 다 사이 아니 가서래 마 참말에서 자 참마서 샤오고 김제로 디니들이 제가 두선다 제바 지야리 디네 섬다다도 조원에 많은 주기다 주기 시에바 참아서야 돼 무슨 참아서 지수법에 참아디네기 다들 시에바 릭디네 요래서야 돼 주기 게어도 남사도 수치나 소수다 섬다직 동안 게어도 무슨 다딩이 시에바데 이제 무슨 참아래샤 지수법에 참아래샤 참아 많이 버리샤서 섬다 차기로 와 지사다 김천 가야도 뭔가 좀 미기 통요도 통요 세부하고 또 어디 참아디는 무슨 참아래서 다 되네기 김천 삼다지 제바진을 하고 근데 어디든지 이디 되네 삼다데 디 하고 송아서 디 제사 하고는 참아디 다 제수법에 참아래서 어두시는 아주게 삼다이라 디소는 참아기 와야디 아주게 냠낸 가르쳐베네 무인니수 통고를 제사 무인니수 통고해야 돼 아주게 강아세야라야 디기 주야다 강아세 무인니수 하모고 위기기 동아야다 디기 좀 맡아봐 디고로 제사 무인니수 하고 봐나 동아세야다 디기 주야 디기 죽두고 그래. 사당 우연히 자고 해야 될 체마세 규리 기억하는 기침을 해셔서 근데 드린 거 이거 하시면 돼요.
To briefly summarize what we looked at this evening. So we've done a review, and we've reviewed primarily what we've looked at, which has primarily been valid cognizers. So valid cognizers are of great importance for us because the source of the vast majority of our problems is our lack of understanding of reality. Valid cognizers are in accordance with reality. So therefore, the more of our consciousnesses that are valid cognizers, the more of our consciousnesses will be in accordance with reality. And it's from being mistaken about reality that we experience suffering and problems and difficulties. So, how you can utilize what we've looked at here is whatever is to be mindful, to be aware of one's thought process, be aware of what objects are appearing to one's mind, and investigate. So, is this a direct perception? Is it a direct valid cognizer? Is it an inferential valid cognizer? Am I sure it's an inferential valid cognizer? How correct are these reasons? Do I need further reasoning? Or have I come to this conclusion based on sound reasoning? So we can utilize this then as a tool to become more aware of our mental process, to become more aware, and thereby to help guide our way of thinking more in the direction of reality. So the goal here is to develop ever more valid cognizers within us, both direct valid cognizers and inferential. And this is the process that all the Buddhas went through. And this is through this process that Buddha Shakyamuni became a Buddha and became an illustration that's suitable to be called a valid cognizer that is a person, and to give teachings that are valid cognizers that are speech. They are free of fault and can perfectly guide one to achieve the same state of perfection. And in order to get to such a state, it's this third division of valid cognizers, that's valid cognizers that are consciousness, that we strive to develop within ourselves. We'll conclude here for tonight. Our time is up, but if you have questions, then feel free to ask. Then tomorrow. Thank you so much.